And so having that DAO has been able to allow for people to do business transactions in different ways, in more creative ways. I wanted to kind of dive into that right away of what are you doing in that space in the DAO DSO? Like what's going on there?
Yeah, totally. Well, Gary, thanks so much for having me on here. Really a pleasure, and excited to talk about the DAO DSO, the concept of it, and the technology that's out there and what's possible today. The DAO DSO is kind of like, just looking at other industries, it's a way for people to kind of come together and work collectively in a way that aligns all of their interests, but also keeps everyone, autonomous. And in the context of DSOs, it's kind of a support organization that can help DSOs kind of accomplish things together rather than independently. So pulling their resources together and kind of having some sort of democratic governance, and also having the ability to kind of spin out products and services that can support a collective group that, is aligned in terms of financial interest.
Yeah, so let's approach this from, there's a couple different ways to do this. So if you know what a DAO is, then that makes sense. But if you don't know what a DAO is, like explain, let's talk about what an actual DAO is just in general outside of DSOs.
Yeah, sure. So DAO stands for a decentralized autonomous organization. And it's basically an organization or a business that's run on blockchain with smart contracts that are essentially lines of code that are contracts that execute and kind of, can cause different things to trigger depending on what kind of contracts you have drafted up. And in a DAO, you not only have a bunch of people kind of working together for a common purpose, you've got a central fund where they can all pull together their money and kind of distribute it and vote on how they want to allocate that capital. They've also got ways to sort of, have a token on the DAO itself, sort of like a Bitcoin of the DAO, a utility token, something that can trade and act as a store of value, and typically is used to, represent either like cash flows in a business or maybe even governance, voting rights. So a DAO is kind of a way of coming together and doing business on the blockchain that's decentralized, distributed, and transparent as well.
Yeah, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because you know more about this than I do, but basically what's happened, and this is the easiest way I've heard it explained, is that software eats everything, right? And so what does that mean, software eats everything? Well, when I was a kid, there was art stores on every corner. There was bookstores in every single shopping center, right? And software ate that. Like those disappeared. There used to be music stores everywhere. Those disappeared. Why? Software ate them. And it was able to consolidate all the music in the world or all the books in the world and put them all in one place where you can access them right on your phone. And it brought that all together. Now what's happening is software is beginning to eat some of the business structures and the financial structures, and also some of even like the legal structures. So like, as an example, if you go and buy a house, if you've ever bought a house before, you go through this long process and there's all these checks and balances. So first you have to sign a contract with a real estate agent. The real estate agent has to sign a contract with the other real estate agent. The buyer has to sign the contract. Then all the inspectors have to come in and they all have to sign contracts. And then you go to title and you line everything up. And then, so all these contracts happen, and it's really a broken system when you look at it. Software could easily fix all that really, really quickly. And same with all the legal processes and all those kind of things. So what I see happening with with blockchain, which I know we're going to go to later, is it allows for the DAO to be able to have this decentralized place where you can have these exchange of ideas, and you can have a group of people who have equal buy-in or similar buy-in, or depending on how much money they want to put in, similar to like you would have a board on a company, but it can be much bigger than just a small board. You can have a lot of people, and you can have different voting situations on that. And so having that DAO has been able to allow for people to do business transactions in different ways, in more creative ways. Like you and I could start a DAO and we could buy houses with it, and we could Airbnb those houses out for different things, and different people could buy into that. And so this, what's happening from my perspective, is now this is starting to leak into the dental industry. Tell me what I got right. What did I get wrong, or what did I leave out?
No, I think you nailed it on the head. Basically, it's a DAO is kind of providing a digital infrastructure to conduct frictionless business, like you were talking about, especially with the aid of smart contracts, which kind of automates a lot of things that would have been manual in the past. And they totally bring together people that, could be all around the world, all around the country. Maybe they weren't working in the same company, but now with the DAO, they can all come together and kind of work towards a common cause. And the DAO kind of facilitates all of that digitally with currency on the blockchain. So yeah, I think that was a really good, succinct description.